So I'm looking for a new amplifier for my outdoor speakers. I've had two in the last 3 years that have died for one reason or the other. One of them just died. The other one, the Bluetooth, kind of stopped working. So I went back to Amazon to get myself a third one, and I had to stop myself. I was looking at all these and thinking, there's a bunch of like Doak, Fosi, come on. These are all just kind of cheesy amplifiers that are probably only going to work for a year or two. Especially in my garage. I live in Texas. It's known to get hot here. So anyway, I got to thinking, let's just get a good used amplifier that's a little bit more serious. None of this like brand new Chinese Amazon stuff. If you're like me, you found the Bose SA-3, and it's suspiciously cheap, right? Like this one's, call it about $60, including shipping. 75. Oh, this one is $50 with free shipping. You get the idea, right? And look at it. Look, it's got these fins on it, almost like it's one big heat sink. So this is going to be probably doing a better job in my garage with the heat than one of these Amazon special kind of units are. It's tempting, but the reason that it's so cheap, like why is a Bose amplifier, 2-channel, 100 watts, so cheap? Well, because there's a lot of proprietary Bose stuff going on, and it works in the Bose lifestyle ecosystem is what I believe it's called. And if you look at the back of one of these, let's see, this one I already clicked on it, so I know that it has the right picture. This is the picture I want to show you. So the Bose link, input and output on the side. The input is what really determines the signal. The output is to daisy chain it to another unit, and it's kind of a, obviously it's a unique connector. It reminds me of kind of a PS2 keyboard or mouse, but I'm sure it's not. But anyway, you can't just plug in like whatever you want to this and expect it to just magically work. You could use the aux inputs. You can see them populated here with the white and red. However, you might have other issues, such as the volume not working. It might cut off if the threshold of the volume is below a certain amount. So it's kind of a paperweight to most people because it's in this Bose lifestyle or whatever it's called ecosystem. Hence why you can get them for peanuts on eBay. So in this video we're going to talk about how you can get one of these and with a few minor modifications turn it into a really nice 100 watt per channel, 2-channel amplifier. As I said, there's only a couple really small changes we need to make, and I'm going to show you what they are. You need to get two things, maybe three, but let's start with a two. One of them is this Phoenix connector for a 4-pole, 4-pin configuration. It looks like this. If you go onto Amazon, you can find them all day long for less than $10. Again, it's called the Phoenix type connector, and you can search it just like this. As you can see, there's a ton of options. If we go back over to this picture, right where it says speaker outputs in the center of this image, you can see that that female port there, and it even has a little pinout for it, left, right. Couldn't be easier. So really, all we have to do is get a connector like this, and then these screw terminals are going to allow you to just simply shove in your speaker wires and then tighten down these little set screws, and away you go. Second thing is a potentiometer. And if you've watched other videos or read other forum posts about this amplifier, you'll probably know that it's designed, not designed, but the hack is that it goes in this VCA port here. And the VCA port, I'm going to be honest, I don't even know what it stands for, but it interfaces somehow with the rest of the Bose ecosystem in its normal application, and you need to use a potentiometer or some other sort of resistive device to fool it into giving you the full potential and full output of this amplifier. Otherwise, it only runs at something like 20, 25, 30% of its actual output potential. So we're going to want to get a 10K ohm resistor potentiometer, and these aren't expensive either, guys. Take a look. I ended up getting this right here. It was a simple rotary potentiometer, two of them, in case one of them wasn't any good. There's 3 poles on it, and we're going to go back to that later. But again, this is not too expensive. And this is simply going to go right into this VCA port right here. And we're going to give it a resistance, which we can change by spinning our knob. And that resistance will actually change our volume because we don't have the Bose lifestyle stuff, so it's kind of like our manual fix solution. So anyway, I said 2, maybe 3 things, and I just showed you the 2 things. One is this connector here, one is the potentiometer. The third thing that you might need is actually this little plug that goes into the VCA port. You can kind of see it's stuck on, almost like an afterthought. The one that I bought came with it, and on eBay when I looked, a lot of them had the same thing, so I'm not sure if it's just how all of them are, or if you need to go and find your own. I would suggest just finding a unit that has this on the back, because they seem like it's not a hard thing to find. But if you don't have it, it's probably a Phoenix connector as well, maybe a 2-pin, 2-pole Phoenix connector. If not, just, be creative, figure it out. And then actually, you might also need to get a power cord. So sometimes these units don't have a power cord. Just get one that does have it. I don't know what the specific style of plug is. It's not like a standard, what is it called, like a C something plug that computers use. So just get a unit that already has the power cord with it. So 2 more points to make. This little thing that says room code on it, this is a little array of dip switches. To make this work with the aux inputs, which you can see they've already got stuck in, the red and the white guys, you're going to need to switch the farthest left 2 to the up position and all the others to the down position. So it says like ABC 5789 or something like that. You can kind of see it here in this picture if you look closely. That's all there is to it. When you do that, it basically tells the amplifier to use the RCA auxiliary input instead of this Bose Link input that's on the very far right on the bottom. So when that's done, it'll, again, you'll be set to just use a direct input from RCA. The second thing is more general, and that is about the input volume. So this is a quirk with the system. Again, it's just an artifact of, I guess, the Bose ecosystem from which it came, and that is that it will automatically turn itself off or go into standby mode if the input volume is below a certain amount. I don't know what the certain amount is because it kind of depends, I guess, on everything else, but if it's below a certain volume on the input, I guess in this case it would be from your RCA, it will kind of just stop playing music until you turn the volume back up, and then after about 5 or 10 seconds, all of a sudden you get sound again. So keep this in mind. When you set your potentiometer, you're going to need to find a balance where the volume on your, I don't know, if maybe you're using your phone through Bluetooth or whatever it is, where your volume is sufficiently high to where it's not turning itself off, but it's also not too loud on the actual speakers. So you'll need to just kind of play with the potentiometer setting to find that sweet spot. Anyway, with this out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and go into my garage and get this all set up. I've also designed a few brackets here. So this bracket on my kind of like on the bottom left is a mount for my potentiometer. This is going to just bolt up to the side of my garage so I can have a nice little volume knob. Again, this is what's going to our VCA. I don't want it to just be hanging around and not really supported by anything, so I'm going to 3D print this bracket, but also a bracket as well for my Bluetooth receiver. It'll just be kind of screwed into the wall somewhere nearby. I do these both in ASA material because it gets kind of hot in my garage. So I'm going to print these, and then I will see you in the garage. So here's the amplifier all installed. I've got my speaker wires coming into this Phoenix connector that we talked about. Really easy to do. It even tells you on the back of it what the pins are for, so left, right, and all that. And then on this little, I think it says VCA on it, this goes to the potentiometer, which is up here. I've 3D printed a basic bracket in ASA filament. It gets kind of hot in my garage, so I felt like this would be a good material choice, and that goes to pins number 2 and 3, I believe. Anyway, the one farthest to the back and the one in the middle were the ones that I found were correct based on my multimeter. And then of course I've got the RCA inputs here going to my Bluetooth receiver. Again, I just 3D printed an ASA, a simple bracket to mount it to this little stud here. At this point, it's just a simple matter of finding out your potentiometer setting. I think mine is probably about 3,000 ohms. I can't tell you because I played with it a little bit to find that balance where it wasn't cutting off, but it was also sufficiently loud. So that's pretty much all there is to it. I'll do a quick test for you. These are ancient outdoor speakers. They're Bose as well, but sound quality is really great.